Stay on top of stories about stocks that may impact the market or your portfolio today in Stocks Making News.
Well, early ticket sales for the new Star Wars movie is smashing the box office records, and the movie's not even out yet. But will the new movie be able to uplift Disney company and help offset some other negative issues impacting that company? Tracey, Ryniec, and Dave Bartosiak will try to fill us in on those issues
I
and
thought you were going to
more,
call
I'm
me
sure.
Chewbacca.
No,
I look like a Wookiee.
See, you said that now, and that's great. There's so many roads I could go down here, but I just won't.
Oh, boy.
Tracey, this is an interesting situation we have going on with Disney because on the one hand, they've been the target of downgrades recently.
Yep.
Their media division is under pressure, and it's been under pressure for a while due to the changing media landscape.
That's right.
And that division, ironically, makes up about half of the company's total revenue. And their dividend yield is lagging. It's barely just over 1% right now. But on the flip side, you've got earnings that are not really too bad. They've been buying back their stock, and outside of the media division, the rest of the company seems to be growing. So what gives?
Right. You have these two different storylines going, and even just today as we're recording this, ESPN is doing layoffs on some of theirs because they definitely are trying to cut costs because, as you said, that media area is changing, even though ESPN is, considered one of the Cadillac franchises on cable TV, but even they're getting hit.
Right.
And then we have this flip side, as you said, about the Star Wars films. I mean, it did break records with the launch of the ticket sales.
Yeah.
They already have scheduled five or six more movies to come, one every year.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're hoping will be, this nice profit generator.
Sure.
And then they have Disneyland in Shanghai that's opening up this spring.
Right.
I brought a chart to show what the earnings look like. As you just mentioned, this looks good. You can see the estimates are rising for this year and next.
Mm-hmm.
We're only expected to see about 9% earnings growth for next year, though. And that has me a little worried because the stock has it's not cheap here, and it's trading about 19 times, and I think some investors are getting a little bit worried. Yes, we've got this huge Star Wars juggernaut, plus there are other movies which have been doing well, and the parks, but the ESPN side is a little bit more iffy.
And they've been trying to unload the ABC television network for some time now.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, though, they still look sound to you overall?
Yeah, I mean, I like what's going on in all of their other divisions, and you have to really like what's going on in the parks. I mean, they did raise ticket prices recently, and there's a little bit of hubbub about that.
Yeah.
But that also means that the demand is there. We have lower gasoline prices, so people are willing to take vacations, and they're going to be going to the parks, and then they are spending at the movies. So I do like that aspect of the company as a whole.
All right. So, Dave, stock trading near the upper end of its 52-week trading range as we speak. Took a bit of a beating back during the summer, but looks like it's coming back a little bit now.
It's like right after that earnings report, early August.
Yes.
Totally took a dump, and then the market, came down all the way to August 24th, so they bottomed out just like everybody else. There's something I've been looking at, though, on this chart and with pretty much all the other charts I look at, is when we came back down in September to retest the lows of August, what did you do? Did you bounce? Did you break on through the bottom, or did you just kind of stay there? Good news for Disney shares is they bounced. And now it looks like we're starting to approach resistance here at the bottom end of the gap down on earnings. So there's a little bit of...
Is that a good or bad thing?
It could be bad, right?
Okay.
Because it could potentially slap it down here. It just depends on how the traders are going to defend that gap. If they allow it to go ahead and fill that gap, then obviously it's very bullish for shares of Disney, because I think we're at 108, and that gap goes all the way up to like 122, something like that. So that could be good. But that's just kind of an area you got to look at where you're saying, okay, here's a battle, the battle of 108.
Yeah. So is that a hinge pin as far as you're concerned as to whether or not there's still value left here for the investor?
Sure. I mean, the value side of things, I don't even care. But the momentum side of things is what I'm worried about here. So a lot of momentum heading into that number over at 108, right? So if we can push on through there, then things are great. But if you get a reversal on heavy volume, then you're talking about going back to the August lows.
What do you think, Tracey?
Yeah,
Still some value here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at 19 times, like I said, it's not cheap. But I do like Disney for the longer haul. If you have a longer horizon, they're doing everything right in most of their divisions. And you just, to me, you can't really fight the juggernaut that is going to be Star Wars with the licensing they're going to be able to do. The toys have already sold out before the movie even came out.
It's a huge franchise.
Huge franchise. They're going to be rolling it out into their parks and all of that. So I like where that momentum is going for the future.
All right.
We got to be worried about the Star Trek versus Star Wars violence that could break out this summer. So we got to be cognizant of that when you're out there in the streets.
You think there's enough overlap in the fan base?
These nerds are serious.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
They do, yeah.
I will give you that.
For sure.
That's right. Well, thanks to both of you for that. In the meantime, if you want other stock information and other stock videos, you can get over to our website, Zacks.com, if you're not there already watching this. And you can just pick through a whole menu of stuff that might interest you there. And if you're watching our videos on the YouTube platform, don't forget there is where you can subscribe to them and even comment on them. And the feedback's always welcome. In the meantime, with Tracey and Dave, may the Force be with you, I think.